Oh my god, it's happening! Hey, does that everyone stay calm? Everyone stay calm! Let's stay fucking calm! Okay, now, anyways, as I'm done quoting the house for a minor extent, yep, it's happening. Comic-Con was announcing that they're gonna do the Clone Wars 10th anniversary panel with Dave Filoni and the team, and yeah, let's see, we get this huge nostalgic stuff, and then all of a sudden we get a trailer, and it was like, could they actually be doing it? You see, a lot of people were speculating that this was the return of the Clone Wars series and whatnot. I thought, like, nah, I don't think they would. Not because they don't want to, but because the Disney overlords would be forbidding it because, well, it's time to let the past die and move forward to the future and whatnot. We gotta let go of that pesky material that was actually getting promise and potential with fans and being loved and critics, and we should milk it for all it's worth and do good storytelling and whatnot. Wait. So, yeah, so this is the return of the Star Wars The Clone Wars series with one last season featuring the Siege of Mandalore. Yeah, we're getting it. The storyline that everyone was hoping to see with Ahsoka, Darth Maul, so much was going to happen in this planned arc. The Siege of Mandalore, that we never got it, and people started finding ways to make it. Like, fan-made comics were being made, fan fictions were being made, people making their own interpretations of it from all the material that was given to them. Like, there was, like, when the show was canceled abruptly in season 5 and with the season 6 Lost Missions, there were plans to do a 7 and 8 that would have done a lot of stuff, like the Darth Maul Son of Dathomir comics, the Dark Disciple story that's become a novel, there was the Bad Batch, there was even a planned event which I was seriously interested in, and quite honestly, the Siege of Mandalore ties with it, and I don't mean like tied together, I mean like this was tied with it in most anticipated episode I wanted to see, was the Yuuzhan Vong appearance. Like, I've seen a comic version of them, but I always wanted to see them in animation or live action. Like, they're such a unique creature to me. And they were originally going to bring the Yuuzhan Vong as a scout ship, and they were going to go in an all creepy X-Files style. At least that's what Dave Filoni said, and I was like, please let that happen. I seriously want to see that. I want to see that. That's kind of awesome. And can we please see that? So, yeah, but due to Disney, retconning everything and rebooting it, they're not going to do that most likely because they have Snoke to fill in the Yuuzhan Vong role, and plus they could they could change history with the World Between Worlds now. Anyways, so this trailer is very stylistic and very interesting. We get this panel of clone troopers in armor walking away, and then we get these helmets of the clone troopers, and then as I was reading analysis of the trailers, because there was analysis, you start to notice something that I was like, oh my god, we're getting actually good symbolism. Symbolism, everybody! And not forced with the space whale moral message that was incredibly stupid. The clone trooper helmets are seen, we hear all these voiceovers, and then these row of helmets, we see Captain Rex, we see Commander Cody, we see other clone trooper helmets, all unique and individualistic, and then the helmets start to evolve more into the Episode 3 armor, becoming more robotic, more conformity, more everyone needs to be the same. And yeah. And then, as explosions are raging, we hear horrible cost of war in the most destructive way possible, as we see voiceovers blending into one another until they're overwhelmed by cries of horror and pain, and then a rocket hits the helmets, destroying them all. And we all know what that means. But, well, A is the cost of war, and 2 is how in the end they're just tools for Palpatine's schemes. And then we get this music, and I was like, wait, where have I heard this music before? And then they realized it was the Force Awakens music. The trailer from the Force Awakens, the first one, not the teasers, the first teaser trailer. And I was like, so why do they do this? Is this to emphasize that this is a resurrection, like the Force Awakens was considered the resurrection of the franchise in movie format? And then we get this title called A War Left Unfinished Until Now. Yay! And yeah. Considering how this ends, we know it's going to be big and horrifying. And then we get this outpost shown on this beautifully, lusciously red planet where the sun is shining down. And someone can interpret that as symbolism, as the dusk, the end of the light, and the time when the light goes out. And at the end of the war, there's the Outer Rim siege is about to start soon. So clearly that's what they're symbolizing, that this is the end of an era. And this was actually seen in archival footage from the Bad Batch episode reels that were made. So yeah, this place is in direct continuity with the Bad Batch. And yeah, and we get a lot of big showings of clones and whatnot. And I was like, please, show, please. And then we actually get very familiar Arc 170s. You know, those things that look like X-Wings, except they're not. Yeah, and we also see an older Anakin. He looks more and more like the movie version we see. And yeah, and also we see Captain Rex and we see Anakin together, but there is another one that we see. We see a member of the Bad Batch, and I was like, wait, are they gonna be in this? Are they really gonna be in the show? Are they gonna be what Season 7 was going to open up with, the Bad Batch episodes? Because that was originally going to be the opening for Season 7, had the Clone Wars not been canceled by our tyrant overlords. And then the camera turns, and we see all these Republic cruisers getting ready for the great battle ahead for the Outer Rim sieges. And yeah, there are... And then we get a scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are walking, saying about how Captain Rex is contacting them, and then telling them to come to this area. But then we notice the background characters, and this is a masterful display that this is truly Dave Filoni's vision and not corporate Disney's vision with the whole Rebel series, where all these officers all dressing up, and they look very imperialistic in what we see in the original trilogy. So, like, they don't really show it. They subtly show it in the background, like, see, it's morphing. Everything's starting to change again. And then Captain Rex is seen talking and revealing that Anakin is shocked to see Ahsoka Tano is back. She looks slightly older. It looks like the images that we were getting from Dave Filoni a few years back, which makes me further say that, yeah, this is his vision. And she's with Bo-Katan in a hologram message. And she says to Anakin that, Master, it's been a long time. Which is showing that, yeah, this is coming. Yep, Ahsoka and Bo-Katan are back, and they're ready to fight, and they are contacting them to prepare for the war against Darth Maul. And yeah, this is definitely going there. And yeah, and Obi-Wan looks older, and Anakin, his hair looks more like Episode 3 Hayden Christensen's hair design. And yeah, they're in the Episode 3 clothing, so yeah, we're connecting Episode 3 more and more as time gets closer and closer. And then we get the ending where the hashtag is saying, hashtag Clone Wars saved. And I was like, wait a second, that's the hashtag everyone else was preaching, save the Clone Wars. And I was like, holy crap, Dave Filoni's listening. Can we please make him the new Kevin Feige of Lucasfilms? He's clearly better than Kathleen Kennedy and the corporate overlords of Disney that think that we know what's best for business. Like, having an SJW droid that does not shut up about how she thinks Lando's attracted to her, even though there was no indication, but we need to retcon Lando's sexual preferences for the sake of sending a message that's political and not at all telling a story. Okay. And, yeah. This was awesome. I was hoping, I never viewed, I had a feeling like Clone Wars could never come back. Not because it was bad, but because it was good, but there was a thing to it. You see, Rebels didn't have something that the Clone Wars had. It had a dark story. It got darker and darker and worse as time went on for the universe at hand during the war. The war getting more and more darker and more serious. Whereas Rebels was all lighthearted and space whales and campy and occasionally dark, but not the level of darkness that you got in the Clone Wars series. Like, seeing heroes decapitate people, Darth Maul ordering Savage Opress to chop off people's heads, actual showing of decapitated bodies. Oh god, I'm going crazy, aren't I? Because I kind of like that, and I'm probably a morbid bastard for that. Let's see, all this dark stuff, such as very brutal killing shown on screen, Grievous smashing someone's skull. I mean, it's not seen, but we hear the crunch effect. So yeah, that's showing morbid. And I was like, Disney never gonna let this come back because Disney can't handle that. They think that children are dumb, and they think they can't see this. They can't see this. We gotta shelter it. And if we do anything dark, we'll just back away from it and show a character's reaction instead of actually, showing the goddamn thing. Like when Darth Maul threw his lightsaber at the Seventh Sister, I think. That clearly cut her in half, but when we see her body in the background slightly, it's not cut in half. It's clearly intact because cutting a person in half was clearly too scarring for kids. I mean, the Clone Wars was around, and Disney's expecting you to remember the Clone Wars, so really, that's a major contradiction from Disney's statement. But to see this come back, the Disney streaming service, I had hope maybe the Clone Wars would get on there, probably. But at the same time, when Disney said they were only keeping things kid-friendly to an extent, they're not bringing in the Marvel shows, Netflix's shows, like Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, because they're too mature and rated R for our kids. Protect the children! Think of the children! Even though I've seen children play Grand Theft Auto and they ask their parents' permission. Yes, that is actually true, and I will never let that example go. So, yeah, I am so happy that this is coming back. This is not going to be like the 3 seasons that were originally planned, season 6, 7, 8, all the episodes that they had planned. They're not bringing all of that back because while they would have to adapt to certain storytellings that were already made into books and comics, so they're just saying, we're just going to do the Siege of Mandalore. Actually, here's the thing. This is going to be a 12-episode season 7. Well, I might as well just call it season 8 because that's what essentially it was going to be. They were going to go ahead, and this is my prediction. There's going to be at least 3 or 4 there's going to be 3 to 4 episodes of The Bad Batch. There's going to be a couple of episodes of Ahsoka's walkabout she goes on. And then the final episodes will be the Siege of Mandalore. Which I'm hoping for. In fact, the reason why there were originally going to be 4 episodes of The Bad Batch. There were going to be a couple of episodes of Ahsoka's walkabout. And they're going to probably showcase the Sith Temple that the idiotic Jedi are still using. That the idiotic Jedi do not know is underneath them. Oh my god, that's seriously a stupid idea anyways. But, yeah, I'm still on that fence on the whole, wait, how did the Jedi forget that they built a temple up above a Sith shrine? Did they destroy their archive? Okay, yeah, they could probably bring back the Old Republic and say that's the reason why, because the archives were destroyed, but, yeah, does backup data just not exist in their... Oh, wait. Yeah, Jocasta News showcased that, yeah, they don't back up their data. Which still brings a lot of plot holes to me, because now they don't have information on the Mortis gods. So, either Anakin somehow knew about these portals, or Palpatine just pulled this out of his ass. I'm going with that one, because the Palpatine in the new canon is a dumbass. But enough of me complaining about Rebels and their awful writing at times, and the awful writing of Palpatine in the new Disney canon, because dumb people equal evil. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from Disney. And Filoni said this: it was really the fans who persuaded Lucasfilms and Disney to bring the series back for its grand finale. He said this in a quote: "I actually think their voice has gotten louder as the years have gone by," he reflected. "It's been very humbling to have their support and to have people continue to hashtag me, hashtag save the Clone Wars." And I was like, just put Dave Filoni in charge. Let him do his vision, and if he wants, he can listen to the fans, whereas Kathleen Kennedy and everyone else at Disney give the fans the biggest middle finger imaginable by having our heroes be all miserable and whatnot, because God knows we can't have happy endings and whatnot. I mean, like, in a form of escapist media instead of, being reminded of our sad, fucked up reality. I'm sad now. Okay, moving on from that. And yes, I know, I'm praising Clone Wars for its dark and reality-telling story, but there's usually a light at the end of the tunnel, and this is the middle chapter, so to speak, of between the prequels and the originals. Okay, maybe it's an interlude, but nonetheless, this is what I wanted to see come back. I wanted the Clone Wars to come back. I wanted all these stories to be told. I didn't want it to be made into comics and books, because I knew Disney would just milk it like they know that fans want it, but they're going to just piss everyone off by charging them more. And honestly, I had thought they were going to announce a brand new collector's edition and whatnot, but featuring all 6 seasons and the movie, which I like, but I do know that it should not have been in theaters. It should have been a TV movie instead of, put it in theaters, but, a lot of people say George Lucas lost his mind a little bit that as time went on, but at least he had better ideas than Disney does. The ones that Disney forces and restricts on the writers because they can't tell stories because they fear the prequels would come back to haunt them. And look how Last Jedi turned out from fans. Yeah, I'd rather not go into that anymore. I might talk about the fan base division later on. But, yeah. When I had read this, I got this from Star Wars Explained when I was reading this on Twitter. I found it, and then I was like, okay, talking about it. I gotta talk about this. And then I realized what I needed to do. I am going to do the impossible. Actually, it's not really impossible, but it might take a while because I have a job and whatnot. But I am now prepared to train myself to prepare for the Clone Wars finale season. I am going to watch all 6 seasons on Netflix before Disney subscription service launches and removes them from Netflix, and I am going to talk about each individual season, including season 1 and 2, because while I do love the series, even season 1 and 2, they weren't the best. They were more like the easing into the show, and then they do all the fucked up dark stuff. But I am going to cover all 6 seasons as a whole, each individual season, because if I talk about the episodes, that's going to be over 100 videos, and I am not interested in doing that, because these are 30-minute episodes, and season 1 and 2 didn't really have a lot of big flavoring that you could do. Like, there were some good episodes and emotional moments, but season 1 and 2 was more like let's ease the audience in, and then scare them to death with dark storytelling. So I'm prepared to watch all 6 seasons in preparation for the ultimate comeback of the Clone Wars series, scheduled to probably premiere in 2019, the same year the Disney service launches. So, get ready for some 6 box videos on that. Well, hashtag Clone Wars saved. Dave Filoni, please take over Lucasfilm when Kathleen Kennedy resigns later on this year, that's rumored. And Disney, please stay out of his business. Like, here's the thing I was worried about when I heard about the Clone Wars returning. 1, will this pay some more respect to Legends? Because the Clone Wars did take the Legends Expanded Universe seriously with its homages, Easter eggs, never really shoving into their faces. They actually explain certain aspects and actually showcase why this exists, even though they could have just done the obvious and just say, read a book to know about this. Well, you know, the philosophy Disney does. Oh, God. And I do get the feeling they're not going to bring in a lot of Legends continuity because, well, this is just focusing on Ahsoka and her story arc that ends the Clone Wars series that was originally planned. So I don't think they're going to go too deep into all the greater Star Wars universe at much. I think we might get a couple of Easter eggs, but I don't think so. The second one was, will Dave Filoni be able to do this on his own without George Lucas's supervision, watching it with a watchful eye? Because there were some ideas Dave Filoni had that I thought was questionable. You know, like originally Daenerys Sophie was going to commit suicide by exploding herself, and that really would have led to a problem like, wait, how do you solve Ahsoka's innocence? That clearly is going to get her killed. And the second major idea that I really did not like when I heard this was originally Dave Filoni wanted Ahsoka to come back to the Jedi Order, but George Lucas said, no, actually, I want to try this. I want to make her survive Order 66 and whatnot, but I really want to see where we can take this. And I was like, and people like to say George Lucas is stupidly insane. He had a better idea than what Dave Filoni had on that. All due respect to Filoni, but still, I want to see this show. I want to see this final season, and I want him to do it the best he can with the material given to him. But I really kind of do wish George Lucas was on board, but Disney hates his guts to an extent. So, yeah, hashtag Clone Wars is saved, or hashtag Clone Wars saved. I'm excited for this. I really hope that he let the animation budget just go all the way and they're allowed to go all out as they possibly can, since this is going to be on the streaming service, which means they could realistically go anywhere, but I think Disney's going to tell them you can't go blood and guts. I mean, like, you could probably do the rest of the stuff that you did in the 3 to 4 to 5 season. But still, I don't want you to do any blood and guts. So, I'm excited for this return. A lot of people were excited. It was number 5 on trending, I believe, earlier when I heard this. So, those were my thoughts on the Star Wars The Clone Wars revival trailer and whatnot. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to 2 for more.